In a far corner of the cosmos, a tiny planet circles a dying star. We call this world Andromeda. It is a place of great sadness. The sky is not blue but a hazy, dusty orange. The air carries the taste of ash and regret. Once great cities stood here. Tall towers reached for the stars. Green forests covered the land and wide oceans held mysteries in their depths. But that world is gone now. It exists only in stories told to children, stories that sound more like impossible dreams than history. Today, the surface of Andromeda is a testament to a great mistake, a warning whispered across the vast emptiness of space. The planet is a ghost of its former self. Imagine a world scarred by its own inhabitants. The ground is cracked and barren. The wind howls through empty, skeletal buildings, a lonely sound in a lonely world. The once mighty oceans are now just shallow, salty pools, reflecting the grim orange sky. A single, powerful weapon, an atomic bomb from a long-forgotten conflict, did this. It poisoned the soil and the water. It stole the future from a world that once had everything. Now, the people of Andromeda live in the shadows of their past, trapped in the ruins of their own making. Surviving on this broken world is a daily struggle. Every morning, the people wake up not to the light of a hopeful sun, but to the reality of their situation. The land cannot grow food. The remaining water is precious, more valuable than gold or diamonds. People live in small protected settlements, clustered together against the harsh environment. They use old technology to filter the air and purify the small amounts of water they can find. Life is hard. It is a constant cycle of searching, rationing, and hoping for a better day that may never come. The stars above mock them, a sea of destinations they cannot reach. Among the survivors, two groups emerge from the dust and chaos, the Centaurs and the Groods. They are the descendants of the people who survived the great catastrophe. They share the same broken planet and the same uncertain future. In another time, they might have been neighbors, friends, or families. They breathe the same tainted air and drink the same scarce water. They look up at the same silent stars and dream of escape. But they are not friends. They are enemies, locked in a bitter struggle that threatens to consume what little is left of their world and their humanity. The conflict between the Centaurs and the Groods is not about ideals or beliefs. It is a primal fight for survival. When resources are limited, friendship and community can become luxuries. The war is fought over a leaking water pipe, a hidden store of preserved food, or a piece of technology that can make life a little easier. The Centaurs control the last deep wells, guarding the purest water on the planet. The Groods, skilled engineers, hold the knowledge to maintain the failing life support systems and energy grids. Each group has something the other needs desperately. This division created deep mistrust. The Centaurs see the Groods as scavengers, trying to steal the water that is their birthright. They post armed guards around their wells and view every Grood with suspicion. The Groods, in turn, see the Centaurs as hoarders, selfishly keeping the lifeblood of the planet for themselves while others suffer. They believe their technical skills should grant them a fair share of all resources. This blame and anger have grown over generations, hardening into a hatred that seems impossible to overcome. Small arguments escalate into violent skirmishes, and every death adds more fuel to the fire of their war. The atomic bomb did more than destroy the land. It destroyed trust. In the aftermath of the explosion, everyone was a refugee. But as time passed, groups formed to protect what little they could find. The Centaurs found the wells. The Groods found the old factories and power stations. Instead of sharing, they built walls. They created borders in a world that was already a prison. The war between them is a sad echo of the original conflict that ruined their world. They are repeating the same mistakes, unable to see that their division is the greatest threat they face. Their fight for survival is actually making their extinction more likely. While the Centaurs and Groods fight, the weakest suffer the most. There are many people who do not belong to either group. They are the families, the elderly, and the children caught in the middle. For them, survival is even harder. To ease the burden on the planet's failing resources, a grim solution was found. A draft was created to move these less fortunate people to a nearby moon. This moon is a barren rock with no atmosphere, a place of temporary shelters and recycled air. It is a waiting room, a place of exile, separating families and offering a sliver of hope that is really just a slower form of despair. In the middle of all this conflict and despair, there is one last desperate plan. The brightest minds among both the Centaurs and the Groods know a hard truth. Andromeda is dying. The planet cannot support them forever. Their only real hope is to leave, to travel across the stars to a new world. They have the plans for a massive ship, an ark, capable of carrying all the remaining people, Centaur, Grood, and the exiles from the moon, to a new home. It is a monumental task, a dream of salvation that represents their only chance to continue their existence. Building this ark is a challenge that neither group can face alone. The project requires the combined resources and skills of everyone. The Centaurs have access to the raw materials and the protected areas where such a large ship could be constructed. The Groods have the engineering knowledge, the technical plans, and the ability to build the complex engines and life support systems needed for interstellar travel. The Ark cannot be built without the Centaur's resources. It cannot fly without the Groods' expertise. Their survival is intertwined, forcing them to confront the very enemy they have been fighting. This necessity has created a fragile, unspoken truce. The fighting has lessened, but the tension remains. Can they truly work together? Imagine the construction site. A Centaur welder works next to a Grood electrician. They do not speak. They do not look at each other. They work in a heavy silence, filled with generations of suspicion. A misplaced tool or a misunderstood instruction could shatter the peace and reignite the war. Every day is a test of their discipline and their desperation. The future of their entire civilization rests on their ability to put down their weapons and pick up their tools, together. The fear is that their conflict is a poison they will carry with them. Even if they succeed in building the Ark, what happens next? Will they leave their hatred behind on the dusty surface of Andromeda? Or will they pack it in their luggage for the long journey through space? A ship is a small enclosed space. Old rivalries could easily flare up in the close quarters of the Ark, turning their vessel of hope into a tomb. And if they do reach a new world, will they be welcomed? Or will the inhabitants of that new home see them for what they are, a people who destroyed their own planet and now carry their war across the stars? The final question is one of unity. The story of the Centaurs and the Groods is a story about the cost of division. Their civil war, fought over scraps on a dying world, has blinded them to the bigger picture. They are all Andromedans. They share a common history of greatness and a common tragedy of loss. The survival of their species depends on their ability to remember this shared identity. They must learn to see the person behind the label, to see a fellow survivor instead of a Centaur or a Grood. This is a battle far more difficult than any fight over water or food. The challenge is to build not just a spaceship, but a new society. This process must begin now, on the poisoned soil of their homeworld. The leaders of both groups must make a choice. They can continue to nurture the grudges of the past, ensuring their journey ends in failure, or they can take the first difficult steps towards forgiveness and cooperation. They must create a new set of rules, a new social contract that values collaboration over conflict. The future of the Andromedan people will be decided not in the stars, but in the hearts and minds of those working side by side to escape their past. If they succeed, their journey to a new world could be a second chance. It could be an opportunity to build a society that learned from its mistakes. They could arrive at their destination not as conquerors or refugees, but as a humbled and unified people, ready to be peaceful stewards of a new home. Their story could become one of redemption, a tale of a people who pulled themselves back from the brink of self-destruction. Their past tragedy could become their greatest strength, a constant reminder of the importance of working together and protecting their home. But if they fail, the conflict will follow them like a shadow. The Ark will become a battlefield in the cold, dark void of space. And if any of them survive the journey, they will bring their war to a new world, potentially starting the cycle of destruction all over again. The universe is vast and uncaring. It does not choose sides. The survival of the Andromedans rests entirely on their own shoulders. They must find unity, or they will face the endless night of extinction, a final silent testament to the fact that a house divided against itself, whether on a planet or in a starship, cannot stand.